friends, it's Kayla and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. Today we are building townhouses in Willow Creek using the base game only. I called this the Willow Creek Estates, and it is on the huge lot in one of the neighborhoods in Willow Creek. I decided that I wanted this neighborhood to look like it was built by the same contractor. I wanted the houses to have similarities and differences at the same time, and I actually really like the way that these townhouses turned out. I'm not the most detail-oriented builder. I usually keep things very basic, so this was kind of out of my comfort zone. And also, this is the build without any furnishing. So far I had not yet furnished any of these townhouses. I just felt like I needed to take a break. It's taken me a long time to finish these. So if you're interested in watching me furnish the townhouses, please let me know. I also thought about maybe doing like a one color challenge per townhouse or something like that, but either way, they are on the gallery without any furnishing, so you could go in and make them however you want them to look. And I also think that this would be a super fun build to play if you had for rent, but like I said, it's base game only, so I did not set any of that up. So as you can see, we've got all of the townhouses built. I just copied and pasted them, and I used an inspiration picture on Pinterest for the shape of the houses. So I am just now finishing up the roofing. I also made these super tall. I just thought it was a lot more interesting that way, especially once we do the front yard or front and garden area. And so for these townhouses, I wanted to make sure that there's enough space for 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So each one has 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, but you can also lay out the floor plan however you like. They are pretty good sized builds, so it wouldn't be hard to fit more beds if you wanted to. And I also wanted to make sure that I continued the brick in this neighborhood. So instead of using that wallpaper that's half brick, half siding, we are using wallpaper that is fully brick on the lower level of the house, on the first level I should say, and then a siding on the top. And I decided to use this kind of periwinkle shade because I like the color we've got going on in this neighborhood, and I just used white doors and white shutters to keep things simple. I have to say, I feel like I have exhausted my base game builds at this point in time. I think I'm gonna take a break before furnishing to kind of just let myself do whatever I want, because I've been looking at a base game only catalog for quite a while. But I did really enjoy making this neighborhood because it kind of got me out of my comfort zone, but also at the same time it reacquainted me with the base game catalog. And there have been so many updates just in the history of The Sims 2 base game that has made the base game pack actually not bad for making houses. Some things are overly expensive, and so it can be hard to make starter homes and whatnot, but for a build like this with no budget and a creative idea, I think that it worked out pretty well. So as you can see, each townhouse does have its own backyard. I wanted to make sure that they looked like townhouses but also had their own privacy. So we've got a fenced in backyard. I also liked how I did the front yards. They're kind of I guess fenced in as well, but with a low-lying fence, which I think looks really cute. Also, we got that new base game update, and it allows you to really customize the railings on your stairs, which I used a couple of times in this build. I used it for the back stairs and for the indoor stairs because sometimes the railing just goes through the wall or it clips and it doesn't look so great. So I'm actually super excited about that update. I also like that you can adjust the width of the stairs, and I feel like a lot of creative builders are going to use that feature super well. I don't think I'm there yet, but I do like the railing update. And now we are just going ahead and putting flower boxes on. I decided to keep it super neutral because if you do download this house, it won't be hard to make your own color scheme. So we've just got white flowers for the flower boxes, and then we kept landscaping very simple. Just like I wanted to do the houses in a similar build style, I also wanted the landscaping to be similar for all of them. So we've got, just hedgerow bushes, low-lying flowers. I do use some bulbous bushes. Saying that is always so weird to me, as well as the flowers that are in the same shape as those bushes. And I decided that I wanted to take away this portion of the front yard. So where I just put those flower bushes, I do get rid of that gate or that fence because it was a little awkward, I think. But as you can see, I'm just also keeping the landscaping super neutral with some white flowers. I didn't want anything to seem too set in stone. And for each of the houses, I decided to add some sort of personal touch in front. So for instance, this house has a fountain. Some of the other things are the flamingos and just some statues and things like that. And I decided, I guess, that I was gonna go hop back in and fix the stairs here and do some more of the floor plan. But as you can see, the second floor, we have the stairwell, and then we've got kind of like a nook, 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. I have that nook there at the top because I thought maybe that'd be a good place to put a desk or something like that. At first, I was thinking of making it an exposed foyer, but the trim on the house just wasn't working for me, so I abandoned that idea and I go ahead and just change that nook to be an area for extra space. Now we're jumping back to the front, and here I decided to put that low-lying fence closer to the pathway, and then I lined it with the hedgerow bushes. So in this build, like I said, I don't furnish, I just make the floor plans. Downstairs we've got kind of an open living concept, as well as a small guest bath. It is a 2x2, so usually for those I just like to put in a toilet and a sink, like a half bath. And then we've got a nook behind the bathroom that I was picturing to be the kitchen. But like I said, you can go ahead and edit the floor plan however you'd like. Personally, I don't think I'm the best at creating floor plans, so do with that as you will. As you can see, it did take me a while to decide how I wanted to do the stairs for sure. I just went back to my original method of just a standard staircase. I think my problem was that the foyer then had this really long one tile like walkway behind or next to the stairs, but I do wall that off. And so now we are going to do landscaping in the back. I did not include the landscaping for every single house because I truly am just copying and pasting the same plants. So I show this house, but I don't show the other two, and I again just keep the landscaping super simple. So now we are moving back to the front of the house. I decided to put these chimneys in, which I did in pretty much every build on this neighborhood, I think. And then we have this side yard that I've been keeping empty for quite a while. I decided to make this sort of like a community area. So there is a pool and a playground. And it could just be for the townhouses, or it could be for the whole neighborhood. There's kind of like that pavement that goes up to the lot that makes it look like anyone can go here. And I have them fenced in, of course, for safety reasons, and also I guess it just makes more sense for me. I'm not sure how I would have done it otherwise, but we are just kind of fiddling around with the location of each of these fenced in areas, and I also made sure to include a grilling slash like picnic area as well. So we've got the playground at the back, and then the pool area here at the front, which I made a concrete area and I put the pool in there, and it's just a pool with some loungers. In the center here we have a fountain, and then we surround it with some grills and some tables. I really like the stone picnic tables that we got. I think that they look so good in this build, and I also added some benches just to make it a good place for the community to hang out. I have some grills here. I've got a fountain. I may have said that already, but I just think it's a cute, simple area. Like I said, I was kind of getting burnt out using only base game, so it's not super personalized. Again, you can personalize it however you'd like, but now we've got the pool going in, and I'm just adding some lounge chairs. I do add some plants and things like that, but it is a very simple area. I decided to move the gate off center so I could fit more lounge chairs nicely, and for the plants, I don't think I do it right away, but there's also some really cute plants in base game that are in concrete planters and match this area so well. But I did put a trash can. I think it's pretty important to have that around for the community. And then I don't know what I'm looking for here. I think I'm just looking to see what I wanted to decorate this area with through the live edit and debug items, but ultimately I gave up. Now, I thought I was going to be able to put a jungle gym in this area, but the jungle gyms are huge. So instead, I decided to make a sandbox and put the monkey bars and toddler slide in there. I could have made this area larger, but I really liked the symmetry of both fenced-in areas being the same size and having enough space in the center for the seating area. So we just keep it small here. In debug, we do have some buckets and shovels, so I included those. And if you didn't know, if you use the sand terrain paint, I use the Sandcastle Dream terrain paint, I think, your Sims can actually play in the sand, and that's where the debug shovels and buckets come from. And so I also put some benches in there, again, kept it super simple. And now I am just going around and adding some landscaping, and you'll see I add some plants and things like that, but that is pretty much it for the build so far. Like I said, I have not yet furnished any of the inside, but this is up on the gallery. You can find it under KaylaAshleySims, and I think I named it Unfurnished Townhouses or Townhomes, but if you are interested, that's where you would find it. And also let me know if you want me to furnish the houses in a different video. If you do, I would also love to know what your ideas are. Do you want it to be like a solid color challenge on the inside? Do you want a storyline? Whatever you guys would think to be entertaining. So anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see y'all next time. Bye.